So the healthy body is a must for the mind to show up in its best state.
Absolutely.
And it is amazing how much we completely disassociate this.
Do you know why?
Um, I don't know why it's not intuitive, to be honest, because when people are in pain, I cannot think. They just when the body really starts sending the storm, and he stops you in a halt, like a handbrake, which we all experience, just a strong migraine, and all is gone. Like you or pain in the joint or any kind of and you literally see how much we depend on the body and the state of the body. It's just the body has a kind of takes that delayed kind of screaming into your face, and we literally neglect the initial whispers. We really push through.
It's a great point. We neglect the early signs. So we
Yes.
look at it and we say, I often use I describe the things that you've just spoken about now like this. The body cries.
Yes.
When we consider again the goal of the body is to survive for as long as possible, whether we think about that or don't think about that, the body is innately trying to be in the best possible shape it can with whatever it's got in the environment that it has. It's trying to live for as long as possible. The more difficult that is, the more the body naturally tends towards a survival state, which has its own physiological implications and pathological implications. And the more we give the body what it requires to live well, that's when we focus and we get longevity, right? And optimal function. So the reason why, again, I like what you described, people would go ahead and where we need that fuel, okay, in terms of good diet and enough sleep and exercise and that is in and of itself a load. That doesn't come for nothing. So oftentimes people are inclined to see the load aspect as opposed to the benefit aspect, number one. So they tend to neglect it because they don't have the time and the energy to eat well and
Yeah, of
prepare food and
course.
exercise, etc. And I get that. I mean, that's why
We're
this plays out.
depleted. We're asking actually to use
100%. So number one. So we always have to consider, is the burden of intervention greater than the potential benefit of
exactly.
intervention?
Exactly.
Well, in these cases, the point of the diagram was to show we can't afford not to pay attention to these things, because if we do, we're in big trouble. So people would go ahead and say, well, I'm not doing the healthy things because it takes too much time, energy, effort, etc. And very often the things that they give themselves to, again, in terms of the kind of fast food or the things that are instantly satisfying. Fatigue is not a pleasant experience. Tiredness is not a nice feeling. So when we're in that state, remember, the mind in pursuit and preservation of maximal satisfaction tends to go ahead and say, well, let's rescue the mood. Let's rescue the feeling. So the feelings rescue is I want to feel better in the moment. And a lot of the feelings rescue is giving me a sense of I'm being re-energized, and that's going to be the caffeine and these kinds of things. So we give ourselves to the things that are actually going to cause greater consequence down the line because they're instantly satisfying. They're usually not that taxing in terms of they're easy to get. They give an instant fix, et cetera, et cetera. But the point is nothing for nothing. So when you go that particular route, which is what most people under pressure do, most people under pressure do not improve their lifestyle. Their lifestyles degenerate. And as a result, we have the typical pathological things that come in. We get issues with blood pressure. We get issues with, even arrhythmias. We get issues with so many things, inflammatory states and gut issues, and so many of the typical chronic types of issues, whether it be reflux or gastritis. The bottom line is when the body is in a state of survival, it has to, unfortunately, sacrifice a tremendous amount that would relate, obviously, to optimal function, longevity, and well-being. It's just, again, it's the body prioritizes usually quite well. But the point is that's often to the detriment of how I feel and how I function. So we have to support it. And unfortunately, again, that often takes self-control.